Hello, in this tutorial we're going to cover a question that came across from Darian, how to add custom chat options. Okay, first of all, I guess I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about here, how the chat options look by default. This is when you use the RPG turn-based template. Anyways, I'm going to hit the test button, have it build out here real quick. Alright, escape key to skip, I believe. Oop, I'm going to have it selected, there we go. Alright. And I already added the actor onto the board there. But now when you go up to them, you get options, befriend and leave. Leave, of course, is backs out. And befriend, you can, of course, befriend them to follow. Okay, go ahead and close that out. Okay, first of all, let's go ahead and add some more chat options to him. To do this, go to, once you have them selected, go to the collections, and where the attributes is, hit that little box there. And you'll see it comes up with a list of their attributes that they have with it. As you see, the befriend attribute, it has the true value right there, which basically means can they be friend or not. And then the message that he's going to say to you. So in this case, he has that message right there, which is great and all, but we want to add more options for the actors to be able to have. So in this case, from the question that came across from Darian, one of his options was fishing. So let's go ahead and add that. When you add this, as you see, it is not assigned. What we need to do is add database values that are going to be global across for the player and all the actors. So go ahead and hit OK. Go ahead and leave that not assigned. It doesn't matter. Hit OK, and then come up and then go to settings and then to the project settings. If you have the project settings open, go over to the database tab. And I have been considering adding a button up on the main toolbar to go into the database. A little tip I got from Darian. I'm definitely considering that. There's quite a few clicks to get into there. But anyways, let's go into the attributes collection here and hit that little box again. Here you see a list of basic, oh, I'm going to go ahead and cancel that out. I wasn't supposed to do that. Go ahead and hit the little box, and here you see a little list of the basic objects that the player has in it. These are basically just designating what names they are. They can be, of course, numbers, booleans, sorry, true or false is what booleans are, or strings, or a combination of things. In the case of befriend, it is separated with the comma, which I'll show you in a second how that works. Anyways, go ahead and hit add, and where it hits, click on the not set and type in fishing. And then go ahead and hit OK. And hit OK again on the next window. Now go ahead and go back into the attributes for the actor over here. And you notice down there we now have the value for fishing. Now we can go ahead and mock the same makeup that's in this. Not exactly sure how it would work with fishing, but let's say the first value was going to be is it possible to fish here? And the next one, forgive me, I haven't had very much sleep lately. Let's put got I fish? Plain and simple. Nope. Exclamation mark. Okay. Okay, now that we have that, that is not going to work on its own. This whole system is, of course, everything is very dynamic. The file that is for those options is actually available, and I'm going to show you that real quick. I don't really expect anybody to be able to modify this file, but it is possible. You can modify all the logic in it and change pretty much 100% how anything's going to react. But everything is driven by this options.visual Lua file here. This basically interprets how things are going to come across into this. Right now, it's looking basically for a function. So in the case of befriend, it's looking for a befriend function. Let's say, for instance, we go ahead and try that fishing one real quick. Let's go back into the world map. And I'll show you what I mean by basically the string, the way that method calculates it is going to turn into the function name. But let's go back into the actor. Of course, he's on layer 4. Go ahead and select him. Then we can actually use that to go into the attributes. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and add that fishing value in there. Let's go ahead and put in the true, and I feel like I'm repeating myself here. Got a fish. And hit OK. I'm just going to check real quick to make sure that actually did save on there. Okay, and go ahead and hit the OK button. And I'll go ahead and test this out and show you what I mean by that function there. Oh, I actually forgot to add it to the talk options. This attribute here actually controls what options that this player is going to have at this particular moment. The way the script works. So let's go ahead and type in the exact wording for that. Fishing, and then have each one separated by a comma. Now we go back in and test it, and that option will show. Okay, and there now you can see it does have the fishing option. However, it is going to throw a script error when you hit this, because that option visual Lua file basically converts each one of these names into a function. It could be changed to work any other way. Go ahead and hit fishing, and you can see that error I'm attempting to. It says basically attempt to call a global fishing a nil value. Down here you see fishing with the 2 brackets, which that's basically showing me that it is a function. And when it says nil, it basically translates into the program. Doesn't think it exists. It can't find the definition anywhere. A lot of programming languages actually use the term null, but Lua went with the term nil on this. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how that works and how that wraps up into it. Go ahead and close out that window. And if you go into scripting, that is actually housed at the moment in the in-game.visuallua file, which is the main entry file for this particular map. Go ahead and click onto that, and you can see you're in the design mode right now. Go ahead and go into the backcoding into it. Of course, for visual options, hit the control and hit the mouse wheel when you have everything into focus. And you can zoom up on it. If you scroll through the list, each one of these you can see that they are functions, and that's what I was talking about. The function is called. In here you'll find befriend, basically is what we're looking for. So when you click on befriend, it actually goes into all of this. Okay, and now we're in this befriend option, function, sorry. This is what goes on. It's very basic. And the first one is taking that string that we put into it, where we have the true and then comma, and then basically what he says after it's befriend. Right there, this is getting a string.split, and then it's asking the actor get attributes, the actor's ID, what the attribute name is. But anyways, it ends up splitting these apart at the comma. Getting a little bit more advanced, this is going a little bit more into it. It's basically taking option 1 and converting it into a Boolean, a true-false situation, and is it allowed at this state. The next one is option 2 is basically the message that is said to it. So you have in this case saying if option 2 doesn't equal nil. That's what that little tilde means on there, the key next to 1. Doesn't equal nil. Basically, if there is a value there, then go ahead and add it to the message line. Which in the same thing where you see message linked here, this is all built into the game engine. I mean, not hard coded, but able to change basically. Uh, you can go into the message file here and basically edit anything from top to bottom on that. And of course, that's taken option too, which was on the other side of the comma. And then we get into the little bit of the logic. If allowed basically equals true, then it adds the follower by the ID, an actor ID. And if you go through the script, you'll actually find that function there and see how everything in that works. Everything is totally open. The next line is basically unpausing the engine. The beginning of the text field actually has a pause command. If you go into that option file, it pauses everything out, so you're not necessarily moving around when you're talking to these guys. That's basically how the befriend works. Real quick, I'll show you a quick hack on how to make that other function work. Just basically quick copy, Control C in the case I just did there, and then Control V. Now take that befriend and rename it into capitalization does matter, phishing. And now when you call that method, here we're going to have to go phishing, or it's going to actually pull the befriend attribute. Now this is going to basically turn the phishing attribute into the befriend attribute, which is not necessarily what we want to do, but it's real quick. If you take out if allowed this line right here, which there's two I guess you call them minus signs actually, will comment out the line, so it's actually not active in the code. It will turn green here in a second. So that line is no longer activated. In the case of phishing, let's see, it's going to split it apart still. The first one's going to be allowed, so that's still applicable. Okay, so basically here I would start doing a slight modification here. We're actually going to use a double if block. We're going to put two if blocks into one on this case. So in this case, we're going to go allowed. I like to say exactly equals. Basically put two equal signs in that case, and then in this case equals true. And then use the word and that's basically how you could combine two if statements into one. So basically in this case, if it is allowed for you to fish, and the message does exist, there is something after the comma, show the line that the fish is caught. You could additionally come in here, instead of just giving a message, and you can start being able to add more logic. I'm going to comment this out real quick because it's not an actual add, something functional I'm going to code at the moment, but you would have a method here called probably something like add fish. And then in that you would add the logic to where it would give you the item, or do just about whatever you wanted it to do at that point. Okay, so it's not going to be friended or anything, so it should basically have the message of phishing. Okay, and I'll go into it, and we're going to go up and chat to him again. Alright, and just before we have the phishing option here, we go ahead and click on the phishing option. We got a fish. We caught a fish. I'm sorry, I haven't had much sleep tonight. My family's been over, and probably going to edit this out later, so anyways, and that is basically how you change the chat options on that. So we can catch another fish there. Anyways, thank you very much. I think I'm going to go to bed now. Have a good night.